fun, but you know, potentially could have been a good tool to have against the likes of him. But whatever is done is done. The drafts are in, and here we go with game number 1. Soniqs versus Gaimin Gladiators. We stressed how important this is. Take care of business. You're good to go. If an 0-2 happens, you're kind of leaving it up to other teams, and depending on how they perform, you never want to do that. Yeah,
it's like in their minds, they're probably seeing the way that their comrades in the group stage that are suffering are performing in BoomBoom Esports, and that's not to devalue these teams with what I'm about to say, but they're probably like, we're kind of safe, right? Like Boom and Boom Esports have struggled. They've got the strongest people left to take out. Yeah. It's going to be a difficult uphill battle, but for them, it's not about that. It's like you don't want to rely on someone else to decide your fate. You want to be the deciders of your own story.
Own destiny to fulfill.
Yes. Strong, powerful word. I love it.
Getting into the playoffs, that's the beginning of the next step towards becoming TI-11 champions. One game at a time, one series at a time. And this is yet another one of those series, one of 9 in total that they've been playing over the last 4 days. It's crazy to think about how much Dota's been happening. But
so much great Dota as well.
There really has. That is an understatement.
MSS. And that stings. He'll be able to walk it off though. Not able to stick on top of him long enough, but damn, you feel the pain there.
Those impetus, you see them flying in the air, you're like, I don't want to keep running, but they're not running to you. It's always a tough call, but yeah, MSS tanks it, and he's going to go. So
that was actually nice out of Quinn. Although he lost the ward, he did manage to deny it, so no XP or gold going to Celery for that one. But it does mean that the vision advantage is going to be there for Boom, so I would like to see Soniqs rotate their supports when it comes to the 2 and 4 minute mark, just to secure some runes, because I think that Gaimin Gladiators is going to do the same.
Doing a good job of dodging the split earth early on, but Quinn was just going more for the CS there at that point. So yeah, it's going to be a fun mid matchup to watch with the Leshrac versus Pango. Bottom lane faces Void Enchantress versus the Crystal Maiden in the Doom.
Yeah,
Leslau going to play pretty aggressive.
You see also why Celery had to take Impetus. There's no world in which you take Enchant very early on or for quite a while in this lane. Because if you enchant, you find a great creep, you bring it to the lane, Leslau says, "Oh, thank you very much. I didn't even have to go to a camp."
Glad you did that.
Save me a walk.
One of those matchup plays I definitely got to be thinking about, and just more value to the Doom that, yeah, I actually wasn't even thinking about. Glad you pointed that out in the laning phase.
Yeah, it's fun to watch these heroes in the meta. Things like Enchantress, Chen. We've seen a bit, especially from Secret. Beastmaster, Doom. It changes this kind of creep cheese that we've come a little bit accustomed to.
Top lane, you are on the Life Stealer. He's up against the Brewmaster, and right now Ace is looking pretty good. He's 7-2 more so, 3-0 Life Stealer. So you are having a bit of trouble early on, at least getting successful CS.
It's the fact that they ran the clock here instead of the CM, and that's because they're stronger on the bot lane. Like, the clock would kind of be standing around not doing anything to an Enchantress, but as a result, you kind of got the weaker hand up here in terms of defense, because they can just overwhelm your War, and you can see what happens when he walks in. The Curse plus the Cinder Brew is brutal, even for a chunky boy like Clockwork.
Yeah, he's just heavily slow and taking too much damage, cannot stand his ground, so going to be a difficult task for MSS. Meanwhile, though, Yoar will get the nice creep pull himself and be able to take up the creep wave. Finally recover slightly. But bottom lane faces Void, actually. 9-2 against a 9-1 Doom, so he's managed to have some successful CS down here. And you do see Enchantress. Never mind. I thought for a second that was hers, but
no, she's not touching creeps. Like, she's enchanting. She's got one far back here, right? But she needs to see the devalues. You can see how far away it is. Look at Leslau. He hasn't devoured on purpose, so yeah. You don't get to use the Mind Stealer to be an annoying piece of crap in this game.
Top lane. Denied. Bit of a clash here. Yoar. He's going to take some poke himself, but yeah, again, Clockwork. The second he goes in, he's having to walk away. He does have a stick on him, has some regen, but having to play it a lot more careful than you usually like to as a Clockwork.
Yeah, what he ideally wants is to play around these trees and get the 1v1s, right? Yoar can eventually sustain against Ace, and then the Clockwork just sticks on top of the silencer. But so far, Gaimin Gladiators have a really good formation in this lane. Tofu never strays too far from the Brew, which ensures that Clockwork can't do anything.
I love that Enchantress is keeping this Harpy maximum distance, using that Chain Lightning. Again, Doom has used Devour, though, so of course feeling a bit more confident that he could be aggressive with it.
Yeah, I think just said screw it. When you see the heartbeat, you're like, oh, the range on that, I'm not bothering. It's the same with the Mind Steal. Like, it's too far away. Top, though. MSS has to walk one off. Tofu also able to get out of range. So exchanges just continue, but Brew is definitely the one coming ahead here. Top of the CS chart. Meanwhile, you are the worst for wear out of all the cores.
Yeah, gotta keep an eye on the build as well of Lifestealer. You know, it's one of those heroes that, depending on the state of the game, could go things like, dare I say, Hand of Midas if it feeling necessary, but you know, probably gonna be more just the typical armor build early on. Spot him.
They tried to, they tried to root him long enough to stop the backtrack from resetting all the damage they've done, but the problem is, like, root doesn't last 2 seconds yet until you scale it, so you'll still offset a lot of the damage they do with the time walk.
Rockford getting some vision in the Radiant jungle over here on the left. So gonna spot those stacks potentially happening.
I don't really know how much Gaimin Gladiators want to stack, though. They don't have the best stackers, and there's also a very high risk associated with that because Soniqs have a Leshrac. We've seen this hero is very confident around 15 to 20 minutes of just walking into your jungle, even into your ancient area, and standing there farming because of the Bloodstone build.
Now, Enchantress has the move speed advantage by 40 to be precise. Yeah, Fada is just dead. He's going to try to get denied. That's not going to happen, though. With Boom showing up, there was no chance, really, of getting away. So good rotation from him. And Enchantress was chasing that Crystal Maiden for a while. That's what gives the info to Pango to eventually make the move and make the kill happen. But CCNC, he's just going to continue farming it in the mid lane. On the left track.
It's one of the hardest heroes to also try and deny yourself against on neutrals, because you saw what happened. Celery instantly just enchants the center. I was like, nope. No chance that that's going to occur this game. So good little inflation for Boom in the mid lane. He is doing reasonably well. Right, he's still falling behind a tiny bit compared to Quinn, but this is expected to happen, especially once Lesh starts to get a few points in Lightning Storm. You can't deny him out anymore, and he eventually harasses you off the lane.
Spot him. Leslau. Centaur Stomp is what started this all off, and it is going to be a successful kill. Celery taking credit for it, so big kill onto the Doom. Mid lane, there's a bit of harassment. Tofu being run down by MSS is eventually going to have to turn around, though. I assume Quinn was coming in, but good job by Boom kind of zoning him out, not letting him get in there freely.
Yeah, and that death bot is Leslau's own fault for masticating. What?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, it's a funny word. It means chewing, guys. He was devouring.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those words, unless you know it, you're like, wait, come again? Yeah, so he had Devour and cooldown, and that's one of the issues. Like, if you look on a Doom, you can see if he's got Devour, if he's digesting.
MSS is still hanging around the mid lane for the time being, but here's, speaking of Quinn, he's not afraid to go in the jungle, as you said, and he's going to find a courier kill. Oh, that's a decent courier kill. Energy booster on that, too, for Boom,
courier
so
and
some
the
added
stacks.
value. Yummy.
Start for
Those are
Lesh.
the arcane boots taken away.
Yeah, he's almost top on the net worth as well. And this spam is going to start getting really annoying for Boom. It's also frustrating because, like, if you want to offset the damage coming your way, you have to predictably shield crash towards the Lesh, which puts you in range for the Lightning Storm split earth follow-up. It looks like he's going to use that elsewhere. Yuar's playing around the top. That's going to force a TP rotation, but this is being mirrored around the back by Lesh. Rolling Thunder. Yuar, he already used the rage to dive. He's going to go down. There will be vengeance, though. Tofu. Sniper around the backside. Quinn in very deep, and the rotation now coming in. Faceless Void does have the Chrono. Quinn can't get out. Chrono just in time. Perfectly placed for the double kill.
That was, now, Soniqs, obviously they had a much different plan in mind. Quinn, he spent a while. He was wrapping it a long way around coming from the Ancient stack over there, or the Ancients in general. And that I was finding that curious, especially with how his teammate Yuar was being dove way further up in the lane, but clearly the intention was that they were going to dive the tower. But by the time they went in, actually, Yuar was already dead. So the fact that they even then committed, I mean, that was a very risky decision in itself, and it certainly backfires. So that's a big kill on the Leshrac, though, for the side of Gaimin Gladiators, stopping that farm that he had.
Like, Quinn's a confident mid laner, right? When he feels good, it should be good. But it just feels like there's that feeling where you're ahead, you're doing really well, you've moved that far in, you might as well go now, right? But you learn quickly why not. The positive from at least is that forced Duratio to TP top, so now he's kind of out of position because they're not pushing the tower. So he's missing out on farm, and as a result, Leslar was able to be greedy on the bot lane and start shoving in. Not for long though. Celery instantly came back and made sure that there wasn't much pressure on the tower. We'll be in the mid though. How about sounds like?
There you go. Yeah, Silencer dead. So, level 3 Diabolic Edict being leveled up by Leshrac. He's not going to use that to help push the mid tower though, as the fortification came out. Instead, he's going right toward the bottom lane. So Quinn trying to be very active as far as even setting up kills, and thought the top lane would happen, unfortunately, but he kills middle, and now coming down here, see if they can maybe get the Enchantress, but she's going to TP out, so no play to be had there. Top lane.
MSS has been saved. Psych. I hate that spot so much. You're like, wait, no, now I'm pincered on both sides. So, nice little pick, but still not enabling the push. They've done a decent amount of damage, but if you look on the other side, it's now just going to be mirrored. Quinn does push a lot quicker than a Panda.
Yeah, this tower is going to melt much faster. As, well, the tower at top still might die, as it's just about dead anyways.
It's because it was abandoned by UR. He doesn't want to come back top anymore. It's just too annoying. He wants the safest lane, and that was no longer safe.
Well, the mid's also not looking too safe right now. They were closing in on him, so having to be careful. As UR will, in fact, TP back to the top lane as the tier 2, getting a creep wave pushed in. Becomes a little more safe, at least.
But you've lost your jungle right now, so you want to try to reclaim that, because right now, Gaimin Gladiators are being incredibly invasive. They do have vision in this dire side, so that's something that Soniqs are going to have to selectively choose to try and de-ward. And I think it's going to come off the back of Leslau trying to make a rotation, but he's yet to level Doom, so that's not going to come yet.
Gaimin Gladiators making a point that they want this mid-tier 1. Speaking of no abilities just yet, there's no Doom as you mentioned, but no hook shot of course either from the Clockwork. He's only level 4. So they don't have these big initiation tools really yet.
He's got the tome coming. Yeah. Tome's going to be munched on by him. I don't know how that works. You eat a book, you become smarter. And oh, he's still just shy of it. And Ace is very ambitious. But you can be when you got a split like that, and I think a poor little support might die, if not something bigger. Wrong Thunder is going to come through, and Disco Pony's still in the neighborhood. Mistakes have been made here. The tornado him up, sets up perfectly, and Quinn, although he's got a lot of damage going out, he's got a lot of damage coming in as well. GG will not just get the tower, they'll get a big kill and a support alongside it.
That was great execution. That was actually very well played by Gaimin Gladiators. Really impressed by that initiation, and yeah, from the primal split initially to just the communication. You could tell he lifted up the Leshrac and brought him down right as the Rolling Thunder was about to connect. They were on point as a team and deserving of those couple of kills and the tower kill as a result.
Yeah, I think they got an eyeball on MSS as well and saw that he still didn't have 6, which is what makes that play very free. If it's not for that detail, then when you try to roll Thunder in, he can just hookshot intercept and ruin the combo. And at that point, you know, split starts to run out, you might end up losing Ace. Just great read on the XP advantage from Gaimin Gladiators to strike while the iron's hot.
Well, they do have Doom now, the ability, and the hero, of course, but he's got the ultimate online as he hit level 8. He also has the Hand of Midas, which is coming off cooldown in about 10 seconds. Gonna want to use that soon, but he is continuing that top farm. Really going the bit greedier build as a result, as we see a lot of these Dooms, but not going to fight anybody. Gaimin Gladiators a bit too defensive, more so at the bottom part of the map, and they're going to push tier 1 down here.
They force the TP reactions. Shot in, connects on the 2! It latched across. They'll quickly club their way out there and make their escape. It looks like Quinn might be a little bit too slow to get 2, possibly 1, but the wrong Thunder counterattack is coming in, and MSS now completely out of position. Says, Quinn, where were you? Why didn't you save me? Why aren't you killing them? Please at least get something. Ace does not have the primal split for 30 seconds. Global Silence is going to be thrown out to try and save the day. And Celery even gets away with it. Yawar showed up for nothing. GG get out clean.
That's an Enchantress that doesn't even have her Nature's Attendants, and she manages to live. But yeah, to that point, where are you, Quinn? Well, he doesn't have that mobility that the Clockwork does, right? So it's one of those deceptively good initiations by the Clockwork. It's understandable why win. Yes, he got 2, but it went very far ahead, and the Cogs came out. So not only did Quinn have to try to run to follow it up, but then he got blocked by the Cogs himself in the pathing. Now, speaking of Quinn, he still needs to be careful right here. The Cinnabrew coming out. There's a primal split. Trying to get the kill on Boom first, but it's not going to be enough lockdown. He swashbuckles away. The explosion comes out from Yawar. Ain't going to save his teammate. Leshrac is dead, and now Yawar, he's just dancing. He knows he's pretty much dead himself. Leslaw's just sitting here waiting for the right moment, but that moment's not going to come, apparently. Crystal Maiden is just dead, too, and Leslaw's kind of just like, I mean, what do you want me to do? Just a lost cause, I guess.
I mean, they baited themselves into subpar fights there. Like, they see the swashbuckles committed by the Pangolier, and he's not exactly full HP, so they just feel like they can freely commit, but it's their mistake to make. I mean, if you have a Doom there at the start of the fight, I can kind of see the logic, but it almost feels like Soniqs, from their Clockwork Leshrac team up to now what happened around the bot lane tower, they're not in sync. Their timings are slightly staggered, and it's offering up an opportunity for Gaimin Gladiators, who are in sync, to take these advantages in situations where maybe they should be the ones dying. But at least they'll get a turnaround kill here.
Well, the difference there, I mean, that's a good example to what I was referring to earlier at the bottom lane, where that hook shot, Quinn was basically already in position to split Earth immediately. Where the one at the bottom lane, he had to make up a lot of distance to even get there in the first place. So, again, one of those deceptively just ended up being a bad initiation, unfortunately, for the side of Soniqs. But, yeah, no, I am with you. It seems a little bit, especially with this fight that's being shown right here. Yes, they wanted the kill on Boom, understandable. Quinn low in the first place, though, going in there. The Infest you see comes out. He tried to save him, but it wasn't going to be enough. And, again, Leslaw's just like, I want to go, but I don't have a good target.
Yeah, and what really saved him there, Caesar Serenity on the ground, just kept it high enough. Shield crack down reduction, I think, clipped to the one hero, so that was the difference maker. But this is the point of no excuses for Soniqs, and it's going to get harder as well at that point, because Aegis is going to be in the hands of Gaimin Gladiators, but the plus side, at least for Soniqs, they have that Blink Dagger. The downside, now that Aegis is in the hands of Gaimin Gladiators, I can't help but get this feeling that Leslaw's going to get one more item syndrome, because he's getting close to that BKB.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one if he manages to get that, but it goes without saying, though, KP, that the Bloodstone is the key here for the Leshrac, and he's got a point booster. He still has a bit more farm to do before that'll be online.
I mean, look how poor he is. The only one having a good game is Leslaw, and that's because he hasn't participated, which is the weird part about this. You know, usually it's the carry that's lagging behind, who's not helping in these fights, but instead, you're Doom. He just wants all the gold he can get. It's going to have to be worth it, though, because this game could very quickly spiral out of control in favor of Gaimin Gladiators.
I mean, it's definitely getting some momentum. Boom with the Aegis. The Fuso Blade, the Orbic Corrosion. This is a Pango that is ready to battle. And we have seen the Chronosphere, but again, that was just a Chronosphere to stop the TP earlier, and then I think it's a big one coming, I'm sure.
That was actually really cool from Boom. The Rocket Flare came in on the illusion, and he didn't pick up the rune straight away, even though he had an empty bottle. So he waited to see if someone was going to come and get it, the Leshrac, most notably. Because MSS, like, once the vision dissipates, you're safe to pick it up. They hung around there for most of the smoke. Doesn't work out this time, but realistically, when the rune spawns on the east side of the map, and you know Quinn's in this area, it's a reasonable gamble to just sit there and wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's as well.
Okay, Quinn's done with the Bloodstone. It's now complete. It's going to regen up, and we're looking at Doom. He's not quite the BKB. I just still would like to see them make a play. I think if you wait for the BKB, you're wasting an opportunity to find really important kills and get some map control here. Yeah, no, like, with you 100%. They got the Life Stealer with the Clockwork combo, so that natural initiation anyways. He obviously could go inside Doom, though, too, with that blink, as we've talked about. So has a couple of options there, but Soniqs not going to play for a smoke or anything like that currently. They're just, they're fairly spread out still, and meanwhile, Gaimin Gladiators is making use of that Aegis on Pango, pushing the top lane, and from the looks of it, they're going to get a tier 2 tower for free. I mean, Fada's nearby, but he can't do much himself. And they tried to trade for a tier 1, but the glyph's going to be there, so they're going to be delayed in their activity. They have still got a glyph for top, though. However, Chrono Man is here to play. Duraccio. Oh, he won't find a target. Soniqs, they read it right, they do back away, but in the end, it does favor the side of Gaimin Gladiators. This tier 1 is very valuable to keep up at this point of the game. Clockwork even gets out.
Well, they're not burning a chrono for that. That's
Wait,
for
the
sure.
split? Well, they're burning for this. Quinn's been
They're
found.
burning for this. Yes, if they get Quinn, absolutely. They don't even need it, though. He's just going to get the bash box, I'm sure. The Bloodstone, it's just not enough. There's everyone here, so by yourself. I mean, we know Leshrak's crazy with that Bloodstone. We've seen it before, but in that case, there is really no chance.
Yeah, not exactly ideal against the primal split. All right, you can't absorb off of all the Brewlings. Actually, the more I think about it, I quite like the idea of Brewmaster as a counter to this timing for the Leshrak. Just because you're able to get on top of him, overwhelm him, you control him as well, and he can't lifesteal much because you just aren't a hero that's going to give that back. Especially when you also consider things like the Cyclone. It just gives you a way of noticing he's used Bloodstone and then getting him out of the equation and moving away.
Yeah, God, look at Boom with the haste.
So
really
aggressive.
trying to stretch there, but yeah, not going to get Fada. That's still finished on Yawar.
Yeah, but BKB is now there for the Doom. So this is actually go time. They have everything they need to try and take a fight. They are still fighting into Aegis. They might want to wait a minute, or alternatively, they can just play away from Boom.
See what they decide. Might end up clashing into them. Doom, gonna find Ace. Has Doom. Not gonna use it just yet. Holding on to it for the time being. There we go. He finally comes out. The Global Silence was used just before, but here comes a Rolling Thunder from Boom. Jumping in. The chase continues onto the Brewmaster. They want that kill at least, but Leshrak is useless in this fight right now, being locked out with the Rolling Thunder. But here comes the hook shot. Infest combo with the Consume. The Aegis burnt. Do they have the follow-up? The cock pushback. Yes, they do. Absolutely. So Soniqs was waiting for the prime time, and apparently they found it.
Man, what a fight to force and what a way to do it there. No hesitation to commit the Doom on the Brewmaster. He was not expecting that. Primal Split was still on cooldown, but it's not about the Primal Split. It's just about the fact they need a fight to reset and take control of the game. And it's a bonus for them when the Pango comes in. He gets Savior Hero Syndrome. He disrupts the flow of the fight and keeps Quinn on the backside. But as you're going to see in the replay here, the issue is he's never threatening Quinn in any way. And he's not getting out Evo, because this is the counter I've been waiting for. The MSS Clockwork. This is always going to make Pangalier's game incredibly difficult to play. And one of the big issues for Gaimin Gladiator and the way they're looking for these engagements is they're doing it without the Void. Think about the amount of games where we've seen teams get the first Aegis and then fold the carry into the aggression. He hasn't been doing that. Dyrachyo went double greed. He's been farming safe on the Radiant side. He built not only a Midas, but also a Maelstrom.
Yeah, and I think that is an oversight. Well, and that kind of goes back to what you were talking about with as soon as that Leshrak with the Bloodstone, it's like, okay, they got to make some plays. They didn't necessarily go for that. In fact, the Leshrak unfortunately dying in the bottom of the jungle. But Gaimin Gladiators, they weren't really forcing the issue, right? So to that point, Soniqs did have a bit more time to farm the Desolator, farm the BKB, and then eventually they found the opportunity, as we saw right there. And yeah, again, I love the idea of using Duke, because I was wondering if he was going to, knowing that Primal Split wasn't off cooldown. And the answer was yes, and for the reason we saw there.
Yeah, it just forces the commitment. Although it won't be there for the next engagement. 30 seconds still is off cooldown. Gaimin Gladiator is already looking to party. They're going to move in Ace. Got that Primal Split. Needs to get close enough to get it off, though. Force out the Rage, and there's going to be a nice infest to get out. So they are going to swing and miss with this gank attempt. And they'll have to settle for a smaller, petty tithe here in the poor little Crystal Maiden.
Fine. We'll just take you out instead. I guess. Okay, Solari's like, thank you. But good gank by the team of Gaimin Gladiators. But yeah, again, to the point, Soniqs, not too shabby as far as what happens there. Leshrak. Now, the BKB on Leshrak is one of those, okay, now you're feeling much more comfortable for Soniqs. They don't need to wait for that necessarily, I don't feel like, but he is farming it, and he's actually getting pretty close. Just basically needs the recipe now to have that picked up.
TP out again, successful by MSS. What is it with him and dodging the Void by a fraction of a second here? Does get out, but just that whole BKB point, the reason why it's so good in this game, BKB usually feels annoying to have to build against Faceless Void. You're actually very content with the idea in this game, because for Quinn, let's say you get jumped, let's say you get chronoed, well, you're not going to die. Not this stage anyway. Late game Void will have enough damage, but as long as you hit the Bloodstone, which you can due to the cast time of the chrono, you're just going to lifesteal off of the Void more than he's able to dish out damage. So it's a nice pickup, because it also ensures that the Brewmaster can't remove you from the fight, and there's no pesky lockdown from Boom in these choke points.
See the offlaner comparison right there. Now, to the credit of Ace, I mean, that's kind of expected, especially with the heroes, and who's playing what? Doom's certainly going to outfarm
No,
the Brewmaster.
let's flame him. How dare he have less gold than a
Ace
Doom
is
with
way
Midas.
behind. Come on.
Yeah.
What's going
Even
on,
built
man?
a Midas. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, he's recovering. He's definitely done his part, especially with the early Wraith Pact, but more items to come. We'll see if he goes that Ags route or not for the Primal Companion. But you see the smoke play by Gaimin Gladiators. And
they guessed wrong.
Oh, they guessed wrong. Yeah, they were trying to find
Fodder's
Fodder.
out.
And he TPs.
Oh, that feels so good as a pulse 5. Oh, they were smoke gagging, so he waited for it to break, and then he gambled. He thought. I think from Boom's perspective, what he expected was for them to rotate more heroes and defend here.
Soniqs going in. Hookshot's
Oh,
ready
MSS.
with the infest.
See what we can find. Nice follow-up straight away. The global silence trying to interrupt, but the Doom's already there. Ace can do nothing but die.
Oh, stopped him. Tofu's in trouble now too. So should get silencer, right? I mean, yeah, they're definitely gonna get silencer. It's a matter of do they get more. Gaimin Gladiators kind of hanging around. Yowar's like, all right, let's continue fighting. They will catch Pango as Fada got in there. Chronosphere's still ready, but he's gonna use it defensively. I mean, he's gonna kill, but he needs to get out.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a kill to get out. That's understandable, I suppose, but that was definitely not the most ideal Chronosphere, what you're looking to do. Obviously, Soniqs is still very satisfied with the outcome.
Yes, ice is not nice, is what Duratio says, but now what he's also declared is, I have no Chrono. I also have no Global Silence on my team. All pressure now on Ace in the follow-up fight. Just great initiation. Instantaneously, the Stomp comes out, and because it's a first initiation by Leslie, it means he'll have enough time to cast the Doom before there's a reaction from the Silencer. It's so much more difficult that way. If it had been hookshot first, you probably would have seen Tofu get the Global out in time to save the Brew, but no. Great choice of way to do this from Soniqs, and now, next fight, Gaimin Gladiators only have one of their 3 big tools for fighting.
Yeah, and speaking of Doom, sticking with that, you see the item he's building, the Aether Lens. We've been seeing this, the Octarine Core. It's going to be coming out pretty quickly, actually, for Leslie, thanks to that farm, and again, the Hand of Midas, etc., being the top net worth in the game. And also a Roshan kill would be pretty damn nice, and looks like that they're going to get it. I mean, GG, well, they are going to smoke up here and maybe go. Yeah, they're smoked up as 5. No Chronosphere, though, so do they have enough? They have Primal Split and the Rolling Thunder, so they can contest.
Okay, try and go now. Quinn does get the BKB off in time. We'll turn for a fight. The split is going to come out, but remember, no Chrono, no Global Silence. Silence is coming back in 20, though, and they're just going to go straight in. The confidence, the cojones on Gaimin Gladiators here. They're going to get it. What a play. And what control out of Ace there. Could not even get back in for a second if Soniqs wanted to.
And even taking their time handing off the shard to the Faceless Void, so he'll get that as well for the backtrack now in play. Yeah, no, that's, again, absolute confidence, I think, as you said there for Gaimin Gladiators, but they were right to be so. I mean, that was one of those moments in a game like this that is a very close game to choose to man up, force the other team out of the Roshan pit, and then just engage to steal the Roshan, essentially, and come out just unscathed. I mean, Soniqs, it was a mix of Soniqs. They weren't really sure if that's what was going on, / obviously they weren't confident in fighting because they didn't have their Doom yet, specifically.
Shot will get them away, only for a fraction of a second, though. Boom. Does fun to target the NSMSS. Will go down, but at least they get the strike out of here. I like what's happened here now for Duratio. There's only downside for him is he started building his Lincolns already. It's like usually in this situation, if you get your hands on Aegis, you're like, okay, I can build a more aggressive item. But when you've got Ultimate Orb in the recipe already, there's only one thing to do. Does at least give him a solution to Leslie, and because Leslie is going towards this lowest, there isn't going to be a Refresher Doom play to worry about. But I'm glad to see Duratio able to participate now. I mean, the Maelstrom Midas, you feel like you kind of have to go for it with this hero, but at the same time, like one of the big issues, and I think it's maybe why we haven't seen that much Void, at least on our channel, is it makes you predictable and it also makes you slower to participate compared to other carries we're seeing a lot of, like the Lifestealer.
Yeah. And the Lincoln's pickup, of course, good to have, especially against this Doom. It's well, not something I know he's been using on the Primal Split, but wants to prevent that possibility from happening on himself. And there's, of course, several other single targets that could be annoying. Bottom lane, they're TPing out, though, so Lifestealer, he's going to be fine. TP's to the mid lane. Good to go there. Lifestealer, by the way, haven't mentioned too much about his progression, but the Manta style now finished. And the Basher will be the next play for him to pick up here.
I don't blame him for going for the Manta, right? You're up against the Global Silence, and when you rage, you don't feel safe here. Also, make sure you're more likely to be able to infest save onto specifically the Leshrac. I think that's another element to this. You know, at the end of the day, the goal kind of doesn't change with this draft, despite the net worths. I think Quinn is going to be key to the success here. It's just deceptive because naturally Doom always gets so much gold. MSS, hello. Preview on the Celery, nice stun follow-up, so they will clean up the Enchantress, but they're reacting, they're coming in. Celery still somehow alive, and they can't do enough damage. Finally he dies, but the time he buys is gonna allow a response here. MSS is gonna be found out. Luckily, Quinn is able to escape with the tree line, but good God, you cannot underestimate the power of the Enchantress heals.
Yeah, that. The Wraithback Totem kind of kicking in as well, so that was that took a long time, and Quinn not happy about that, but in the end they did get the kill, and of course all they lost was Clockwork in response, but yeah, that was a little worrisome for them. Silencer, 80 seconds still on the Global Silence now with that use. Mid lane, Yawar. Immediate rage means immediate backtrack coming out from Faceless Void, just trying to bait that out of him. A minute 40 though on the Aegis. So Gaimin Gladiators, how do they capitalize with this now? What more objectives? Mid tower looking pretty juicy.
Soniqs, they're not going to rest on laurels and say, we got lucky not to lose Quinn there. We got lucky there wasn't a Chrono Man rotating. Instead they say, okay, Global Silence is used. Split is used. So we are going to fight. And I don't care if it's the Void first. They try to club him, but Time Warp back. He gets the Chrono off! The sick plays out Diracho. This man is Neo dodging bullets. Leslau tries to run away. BKB activate, but the Rolling Thunder full up. The Doom is irrelevant here. Chop in as choke point here. Soniqs are gonna get ran down. One by one they fall to the power of Gaimin Gladiators.
So that started with obviously the reaction of Daracho to pop the Chronosphere, perfectly timed as the Tomb comes in was phenomenal. But really Celery, he's the one that tanked the smoke initially. That's what popped Doom out. And I think he might have seen him. It was hard to tell with the vision. But point is, that kind of popped him out, and then Doom kind of second-guessed himself, ended up trying to jump the Faceless Void as soon as Faceless was somewhat in. But again, that Chronosphere reaction was absolutely insane and perfectly timed, and now Gaimin Gladiators is going to get the tier 3 out of this as well.
That time walk was nasty. The reverse time walk, like most boys in that situation, like, okay, I dodged death, I'm gonna leave. No hesitation to go back in. And one of the weaknesses of Doom sometimes is the long cast time. You saw how it came in impact there. Just great plays out of Diracho and ultimate punishment coming out as they move in, looking to take the melee racks. There is gonna be a hook shot response, but Global instantly there to disrupt the flow of things. Rage allows Yawar to go deeper though. They will at least find a kill on the Silencer. But little more than that. It looks like the rest of Gaimin Gladiators should be out. They do ping Celery, but I feel like we've been here before, guys.
You see the arm going up for the attack, and
he's got
welcome to Enchantress. He does,
Yawar says, yep,
Yawar's
come
predicting
here.
It, yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean,
even
dead,
if you die
right?
now.
She's actually dead this time.
Just sprinking.
Space created, as they say. Speaking of that, look at Faceless Void. He's gonna go in and finish off the racks and get out. What a commitment! Clockwork?
No, he couldn't because the CM, she was gonna bodyguard it either way. Not sorry, the CM. Like it was too long with TP because she went in first, right? So like, yeah, yeah. It's one of those things where you think you're helping and then you realize, oh, I actually have no answer to the Void. So can Clock come now?
Dire are scanning.
Wow, I mean, the BKB to just charge in and kill the melee racks, but hey, it's a melee racks, obviously a pretty big deal, so understandable. It's quite the ballsy play there.
Confident.
And now back to farm. Yeah.
Ratio should feel confident as well, because actually that Clockwork is really the only answer they now have to him with this Lincolns and the BKB. This is a very difficult game for Soniqs to answer. I mentioned that earlier on, the Leshrac is a very good solution to the Chrono Man, but we're reaching a stage where you can't just be Chrono to live. Even with Bloodstone, you'll probably die now to the Void.
Yeah, Leshrac's presence has not necessarily been felt the most, like we have seen in a lot of these Leshrac games throughout this event. So Quinn trying though, pushing out the bottom lane now. He has that Kaya. As the Gaimin Gladiator side, though, they're busy just resetting, smoking, Chronosphere ready to go, Global Silence, everything basically is ready to go. Looking for the kills. So Soniqs aware of the timing. They're going to rock it and try to scout. But with no one showing, it's pretty obvious that that smoke play might be coming. Are they going to smoke themselves? They're on the uphill.
They come. They're actually want something. Take anything you can find. Leslau goes in. BKB there able to pop it. They get the Doom onto the target. Void is gone. Perfect start to the fight. And now, Gaimin Gladiators have to go into full retreat. Brew will try to create the space. Tofu at least TP's out. Ace has a long way to go, though. They're just going to stick on top of that Earth Panda. And Leshrac should be quick enough to keep pursuit here, so might not just be the Void, it might also be the Brew going down. Will blink away, but they are still chasing.
I mean, that's what made that last fight reaction that much more impressive, because that's what they needed. If he didn't get that Chronosphere off, you kind of see what could have happened, as now we see in this engagement. Now, luckily for Gaimin Gladiators, it is only the Faceless Void, and everyone else is able to escape. But Soniqs clearly still showing that they can catch, and speaking of catching, Enchantress once again caught, and she is not getting away this time. We do see the open wounds now in play as well. So a transition for Soniqs to push this top tier 2. Backdoor protection in play. Now it's going to be taken off. They should kill this.
If he could have forced off to the Ancient area, I think he probably survives because the rage runs out, but I don't believe so. Celery has been annoying in the past, this time around unable to, and yeah, Rouge still a minute away. DD sitting out here. Gaimin Gladiators is going to have everyone up, and they're going to have pretty much everything they need to fight. Split still on cooldown for 40 seconds, but the Global is going to be there, and the Chrono is still usable. Meanwhile, on the other side, Doom, 15 seconds because of this Octarine build that Leslau went into is definitely paying off.
Yeah, and you saw that right there. I'm not exactly sure if it was a Crystal Maiden, the Leshrac, or somebody, but obviously somebody removing the Lincolns initially. I mean, that's why he got that item, was to ideally give him that reaction time, but it just doesn't matter. He was stomped as well, thanks to Doom with that War Stomp. I do feel like that's a fantastic ability for him to have, in the sense it kind of goes around that Lincolns and allows somebody else to take it off. They have plenty of tools to do so. Smoke play here from Soniqs. They're wrapping around. It's their turn to play aggressive now. Doom itself is ready. Octarine core. Thank for that. Celery, trying to tank this gank once again.
Hit me.
And never mind.
Come here. I want you to jump me. I won't fall for that trick. Sometimes when you see an Enchantress, you just have to imagine an Undying. Don't do it. Don't jump on him. Instead, they're going to jump on an easier target. Fada on the other side in trouble. This PS5 not as annoying as the other.
This is the timing of the resurrection of Roshan playing a bit more in favor of Gaimin Gladiators. Soniqs had a window there after the red timer wore off, or if it was a very fast spawn, maybe, but it's not going to happen. Yeah.
They used the Global as well, just to be safe. So Aegis now has Dirachi. The reason that worked so well is the Panda. The Storm Panda went into the mid and Cyclone Leslau, which means you haven't just stunned one hero and removed them, you've stunned two, because he's still infested inside the Doom. So Yawar wouldn't have been able to move across the pit either.
Radiant's middle tower
Yeah,
is under attack.
this Roshan very clean for the side of Gaimin Gladiators to be able to move in there, just take it, not give Soniqs any chance to do so. But that's what Soniqs was kind of hunting for. They were trying to make a play, but again, the avoiding was well played by Gaimin Gladiators.
Sometimes I wish we had an infest clock for when you infest and nothing happens. 'Cause I feel like Yawar was in there for half a minute. There's a lot of time to miss out on farming as a lifestealer.
Well, he's out now as tier 4 items going to start happening. Always like to bring that up, so look for those starting to pop out.
You love your neutral items, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like tier 4 is when it starts to, you know, become a little more impactful.
Oh yeah, like Timeless Relic is godly. We've seen Flicker plays over the years, even Ninja Gear. There's just so many good ones in there. Done such a good job of making it feel like there's not that many neutral items that feel worthless in Dota anymore, which is good.
Yeah, that's the idea.
On top though, looks like Gaimin Gladiators want to play. Now they do have that Chrono. They've got Nagus for 3.5 minutes. It's on Soniqs to try and find a reason for Gaimin Gladiators to not stay here, which is why Lifestealer is pushing in bot as fast as he can.
Yeah, and it's definitely a massive wave. They are going to have to address this on Gaimin Gladiator's side somehow, because that's going to start doing some good damage to their base. I know they have the Aegis push that they want to commit to up here, but keep an eye on that. Primal Split lifts up Leshrac. Yeah, he pops a Bloodstone early on, but again, the Primal Split already committed. Wraith Pack put down by Soniqs, and now trying to kill the Storm Brilliant. They will do so. Ooh, it looked like he might have gone for the Chrono, but no, just backtrack immediately. And Gaimin Gladiators playing the poke game, using that Earth Brilling to get the damage on the tower and then get out.
Oh, Duracio's trying to force the hook
Radiant's
shot.
bottom tower
That's why he keeps
is
doing
under
that.
attack.
He's just time walking in, and it's either hook shot or Doom. He wants to see them use one of those two, because he doesn't care, right? He's got Aegis, so it's very difficult for him to kill him 2 times right now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Looks like they are going to back away. Yeah, Celery just shoot bot, so this should be the moment they just full peel back. Otherwise, they're going to be fighting 4 versus 5. Even with an Aegis, that's a little bit dangerous. Can't underrate Soniqs' power they do still have. I was trying to go hunt, but luckily for them, the hook shot is just half a second too late. Right position, wrong time.
Yeah. That's unfortunate mistiming there from MSS. Good attempt, though. Going for it. Wait, look at this Faceless Void. 30,000 net worth. He actually gets the Penta Edge Sword. Speaking of tier 4 items, that is one of those really good ones for a hero like Faceless Void to have picked up now.
Yeah, good luck running away from him anymore. I mean, it's just 45 damage with this type of build with the Mjolnir and the Hand of Midas. This boy's a Gatling gun. Could kill anyone in this Chronos now, and one big issue for Soniqs, they don't really have a save in the Chrono.
Yeah. Silver Edge as well, great against a hero like Lifestealer. He's wanted to build that. So, and he's got 4,600 gold saved up. First buyback in play too. He has Aegis at 30. But that's going to be an item he's looking for. Yeah, Quinn.
He's just playing them right now. It's just, this is a Duraccio show.
Oh,
he got it out of them. Okay, hook shot on cooldown. I mean, that's a tip type moment. Appropriate laughing.
Yep. I think toying with him, as you mentioned, that's kind of the appropriate way to look at that. Ace going back
Okay,
with the Chrono Split. This time not toying with Ace, toying with him with the Chronosphere in the backlines. Catches Crystal Maiden as well. Leshrac, he's just beat down. He has a buyback. Meanwhile, Infest away from Yawar as Doom's got in the back of there, stretching all the way to the tier 4 towers. The buyback's in play for the side of Soniqs, though. Duraccio, he needs to get away. Doom goes in. Doom still has his Doom. Not using it. They pop the Lincolns. No, but the global silence comes into play just in time. He had to pop the Lincolns first, and he was unable to cast the Doom as a result.
Now they're going to punish them for chasing out of the base here. So they're going to turn around. Hookshot's going to come in with the Pangolier. Doom in an AoE. Leslau trying to stick on top targets, but Ace able to get the BKB off, and now the movement comes in. Duraccio confident to commit. They're going to clean him off. Doom's gone. Leshrac now down. That's going to be the dive back. They'll even find Yawar on the back foot. He has buyback, but without a team to help him defend, this is going only one way. Gaimin Gladiators head back to the dire base.
Yeah, dieback for Leshrac. He's out for 100 seconds. Buyback from Lifestealer. He has to. I mean, Doom's going to have to as well. Because right now, Gaimin Gladiators is just going to push for the victory. The Aegis is reclaimed, so a little more vulnerable, I guess you could say, for Faceless Void. But, I mean, yeah, it really just came down to that. Not being able to Doom Faceless Void himself was the key there.
He wants to wait as well. Like, look at Leslau's cooldown, how long he's dead, how long the Doom's on cooldown. They sync up. So in an ideal world, like, you don't buy back before you have it. You don't do anything, which means you've lost this game. Gaimin Gladiators close out game 1, and Duraccio, I wasn't sure about this Faceless Void, but they were for good reason. What a performance out of Gaimin Gladiators.
Yeah, he had good protection around him as well. We mentioned with the Primal Split, the Global Silence, these are some long cooldown abilities, but they did a good job of playing around them, you know, making sure, understanding, you know, when those were down, not necessarily looking to force the fights. When they were ready to go, they were at a much more stronger point, and that showed clearly. So there's certainly a lot of factors in this game as to why they won it. It was a great play by themselves overall. I do feel like on the side of Soniqs, Quinn never really got to a threatening point on the Leshrac. Was unfortunate for him. And Leslau, I mean, he had some great farm early on, and he eventually had that pretty good Doom, as we saw the potential there, especially on the Faceless Void, but the Lincolns then came into play, and that was a factor in the final fight.
Yeah, I think looking back at this game, there was a clear point early on where 4 of them wanted to fight, and one of those 4 wasn't the Doom, right? You remember that moment where we were kind of waiting around for Doom to participate? He was still looking to farm the next item. You know, he was close to having a BKB, the Blink, whatever it is. It just felt like there was this delayed goal where they're like, well, we'll have like the BKB, we'll have like the Bloodstone, we'll have 1 or 2 items on the Lifesteal. They want 3 items ready, 1 on each core. That's incredibly greedy. Usually a lot of teams will either play off of 1 big item or they'll look to play off of 2. And I think that the part that maybe backfired for Soniqs is that they prioritized farm on Leslau, whereas it maybe should have been prioritized for Quinn instead. That would have been a scaling answer to Duraccio up until he had these 2 defensive items in the BKB and Lincolns. 2 items that really only came into the picture after they started taking wins in fights and taking control of the Roche bit.
This is another game where I think our offlaner and Ace specifically could deserve the MVP. His primal splits were not only very effective throughout. He only got doomed once really, and that wasn't even with the primal split needing to be used. And so yeah, there you go. I was gonna say his itemization was great as well. I mean the Hand of Midas, but after the Wraith pack, so he got that initial utility item, then the Hand of Midas to help him just really enhance that farm. The BKB then coming out, and the initiation tool with the blink, and the Assault Cuirass, just kind of a nice finish there to round it up. I mean the Hand of Midas, but after the Wraith pack, so he got that initial utility item, then the Hand of Midas to help him just really enhance that farm. The BKB then coming out, and the initiation tool with the blink, and the Assault Cuirass, just kind of a nice finish there to round it out and give that team support that they needed. And he was also their building damage with that Earth Bruising specifically, so that certainly came into play too. So yeah, happy to see Ace with the MVP because definitely thinks he deserves it in that one.
Yeah, sickest play of the game still goes to Duraccio though. That time walk, reverse time walk play, oh my good god. Like that really set things fully in motion, Up until that point, you could see a way in which maybe Soniqs could try to take a fight with bad positioning. From that point onwards though, this was always looking Gaimin Gladiators favored. And you know what? Gladiator in the arena is nothing to turn your nose up at or turn your back on. And they show exactly why. But folks, this is only the first game. It's a good start for Gaimin Gladiators. If they can get a 2-0 over Soniqs, Soniqs are going to be biting their nails watching the BetBoom and Boom series later. But all that comes after a short break. Go get yourself a drink, because when we return, we're going to see the second game of the series.
Is under